Admiral Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of Lunar Base Alpha, her dark eyes fixed on the approaching Nexarian diplomatic vessel. Its crystalline structure caught the sunlight, creating rainbow refractions that would have been beautiful if she didn't know the truth about their visitors' intentions. "They're maintaining their approach vector, Admiral," Lieutenant James Rodriguez reported from his station, still broadcasting peaceful intentions on all frequencies. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Nexarians thought they were being clever, hiding their combat ships behind Jupiter's magnetic field. Humanity's quantum sensors had detected their fleet the moment they entered the solar system, but Earth's defensive grid remained dormant, masquerading as primitive satellite technology. "Send the welcome message," she ordered. "Maintain our technological camouflage. Let them think they're dealing with a species that's barely achieved interplanetary travel." The Nexarian ship, the Crystal Harmony, docked with perfect precision at the station's outer ring. From their intelligence gatherings, Sarah knew the Nexarians had conquered 12 other civilizations using the same strategy: appear peaceful, assess weaknesses, then strike with overwhelming force. Ambassador Zixna emerged from the ship, their translucent body pulsing with bioluminescent patterns that their cultural experts identified as expressions of superiority. Flanked by guards whose crystalline armor concealed advanced weapons, the ambassador approached the human delegation. "We bring greetings from the Nexarian Collective," Zixna's translator conveyed. "We seek peaceful exchange of knowledge and technology with your species." Sarah stepped forward, playing her role perfectly. "Earth is honored by your presence, Ambassador. We have much to learn from your advanced civilization." The words tasted bitter, but they served their purpose. The meeting proceeded according to protocol, with the Nexarians making a show of being impressed by humanity's primitive achievements. They offered generous technological assistance, each gift carefully designed to create dependency on Nexarian systems. What they couldn't know was that human quantum computers were already decoding their encryption protocols, analyzing their weapon signatures, and mapping their fleet movements. The entire station was a sophisticated sensor array, gathering data on every aspect of Nexarian technology. As the ambassador toured the facility, Sarah received a coded neural transmission from Fleet Command. The Nexarian battle fleet had moved closer, now hiding behind Mars. They were preparing for their standard conquest pattern, a swift decapitation strike against Earth's leadership, followed by systematic planetary subjugation. "Your species shows remarkable potential," Zixna commented, examining a supposedly cutting-edge fusion reactor that was actually centuries behind current human technology. "With proper guidance, you could join the galactic community within mere decades." Sarah nodded graciously while accessing real-time updates from Earth's hidden defense grid. The Nexarians had positioned their ships exactly where Strategic Command had predicted. Their overconfidence would be their undoing. "Perhaps," she responded diplomatically, "we could arrange for cultural exchange teams to visit your worlds. We're particularly interested in your military history." The subtle probe was calculated to appeal to Nexarian pride. Zixna's bioluminescence flickered with barely concealed satisfaction. "Of course. Our military achievements are particularly impressive. Though purely defensive in nature, I assure you." The lies flowed both ways now, a dance of deception where both parties thought they held the upper hand. But only one side knew the true stakes of this game. As the diplomatic mission concluded, Sarah watched the Crystal Harmony depart. Within hours, the Nexarians would launch their attack, expecting to find a helpless civilization. Instead, they would encounter humanity's real defensive capabilities, carefully hidden behind a facade of technological inferiority. "Send word to the Prometheus," she ordered once the Nexarian ship was out of range. "Operation Looking Glass is a go. Let's show our friends what humanity is truly capable of." The trap was set. Now it was only a matter of time before the Nexarians learned why underestimating humanity was the last mistake many species ever made. The Nexarian attack began at dawn, Earth time. Their warships emerged from behind Mars in perfect attack formation, crystalline hulls gleaming with deadly purpose. To their sensors, Earth's defenses consisted of nothing more than primitive satellites and a scattered fleet of chemical propulsion vessels. Admiral Chen watched from her real command center, deep within Titan's crust, as the enemy fleet approached. The holographic display showed over 2,000 Nexarian vessels, their weapons charging for what they thought would be an easy conquest. "They've transmitted their surrender demands," Captain Rodriguez reported, now revealed as her tactical officer rather than a mere lieutenant. "Standard template. Submit or be destroyed." "Acknowledge receipt," Sarah ordered, her fingers dancing across the quantum interface. "And prepare to initiate Protocol Lazarus." Across the solar system, humanity's true defensive grid awakened. Seemingly empty regions of space rippled as phase-shifted battle stations dropped their quantum camouflage. The primitive satellites transformed, unfolding into advanced weapon platforms that had been hiding in plain sight for decades. The Nexarian fleet's first indication that something was wrong came when their long-range scans suddenly went dark. Their encrypted communications dissolved into static as human quantum AI systems effortlessly dismantled their security protocols. "Priority targets identified," Rodriguez announced. "Their command ships are positioned exactly where we predicted. Arrogance makes them predictable." Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. "Signal the Prometheus. Captain Martinez, you may proceed with the demonstration." The TSS Prometheus, humanity's flagship, emerged from its dimensional pocket near Venus. The vessel dwarfed anything in the Nexarian fleet, its dark matter hull absorbing all sensor scans. To the increasingly panicked enemy ships, it appeared as if a piece of space itself had come alive. Ambassador Zixna's voice crackled across the command channel, their previously smooth diplomatic tones replaced by barely controlled fear. "What is the meaning of this deception? Your species was supposed to be primitive." "Supposed to be," Sarah replied calmly. "Perhaps you should have questioned why a primitive species seems so unconcerned by your obvious invasion fleet. We've been watching you for decades, Ambassador. Every conquest, every subjugated world. Did you think you were the only ones who could play at deception?" The Prometheus's first action wasn't an attack. It was a demonstration. A focused quantum beam lanced out, intersecting with one of the Nexarian's supposedly impenetrable shields. The crystalline barrier shattered like glass, the theory behind its weakness worked out by human scientists years ago. Panic spread through the Nexarian fleet as their most basic assumptions about their technological superiority crumbled. Their ships began breaking formation, individual commanders reacting to a situation none of their conquest protocols had prepared them for. "They're charging their main weapons," Rodriguez reported, "preparing to launch a full assault." Sarah nodded. "Deploy the Aegis network. Let's show them what real defensive technology looks like." Quantum shields materialized around Earth and its colonies, their energy patterns specifically designed to counter Nexarian weapons. As the enemy fleet opened fire, their energy beams were caught in temporal matrices, redirected, and dispersed harmlessly into subspace. The Prometheus began moving through the Nexarian formation, with impossible grace for its size. Its dark matter hull rippled, launching swarms of autonomous combat drones. The human AI had evolved beyond the need for pilots. Each drone was a match for a Nexarian cruiser, their quantum weapons bypassing shields designed to stop conventional energy weapons. "Admiral," Rodriguez called out, "we're detecting power spikes in their flagship. They're preparing to deploy their planet-killer weapons." "As expected," Sarah replied. "Initiate Protocol Omega. Let's see how they handle our response to that level of escalation." Throughout the solar system, ancient defense platforms that humanity had buried within asteroids and moons activated. These weren't just weapons. They were fragments of a vast quantum computer network that could locally rewrite the laws of physics themselves. The Nexarian fleet found itself trapped in bubbles of altered spacetime, their weapons refusing to function as reality itself rejected their existence. Their mighty warships, terror of a dozen conquered species, hung helpless in space as humanity revealed the true extent of its technological evolution. "Your species," Zixna's voice trembled across the command channel. "What are you?" "We are humanity," Sarah responded, her voice firm but not unkind. "And we've spent centuries preparing for species like yours. Every primitive satellite you mocked was a sensor gathering data on your technology. Every diplomatic conversation was analyzed to understand your tactics. Every moment you thought you were studying us, we were learning how to defeat you." The Prometheus moved into position above the Nexarian flagship, its presence a silent reminder of the gulf between their civilizations. But humanity's response to their attempted invasion wasn't finished yet. The real shock was still to come, as Sarah prepared to reveal their most devastating capability, one that would reshape the galaxy's understanding of what humanity was truly capable of. Saturn's rings glittered like a cosmic warning sign as the remnants of the Nexarian fleet regrouped. Their crystalline ships had taken formation within the ice fields, using the debris as cover, while they attempted to process the shocking revelation of humanity's true power. From her command center on Titan, Admiral Chen watched the tactical display with calculated patience. The Nexarians had lost a third of their fleet in the initial engagement, but their remaining vessels were now operating with desperate precision. Fear, she had learned, could make even the most arrogant species dangerous. "They're adapting," Captain Rodriguez observed, highlighting energy signature changes in the enemy fleet. "Their shields are modulating to match our quantum frequencies." "As expected," Sarah replied. "No species survives as long as they have without the ability to learn." "Signal the Prometheus. Tell Captain Martinez it's time for Phase 2. The massive human flagship emerged from its dimensional fold, its dark matter hull now configured to resemble a celestial predator. The ship's appearance wasn't mere aesthetics. Human psychologists had determined that primal fear could transcend species boundaries. Supreme Commander Vixlar of the Nexarian fleet had taken personal command after their initial defeat. His voice crackled across the command channel, strained but determined. "Your deception ends here, humans. You may have hidden technology, but we have experience. Centuries of tactical warfare that your species cannot match." The Nexarian fleet began executing a complex battle maneuver, their ships weaving through Saturn's rings with practiced precision. Ice and rock debris became weapons in their hands, accelerated to relativistic speeds by crystalline gravity projectors. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Interesting choice, Commander. But did you really think we've been maintaining these rings naturally all these centuries?" At her command, Saturn's rings came alive. What appeared to be simple ice and rock revealed themselves as billions of networked quantum processors. Each particle was a node in humanity's vast defense network, lying dormant until needed. The Nexarian fleet found their carefully planned maneuver turned against them as the ring particles began moving with impossible coordination. Their relativistic weapons were caught in artificial gravity wells, transformed into ornate patterns that spelled out words in Nexarian script. "Surrender now." "Impossible," Vixlar breathed. "The energy requirements alone." "Dark energy manipulation," Sarah explained, her voice carrying a teacher's patience. "Your species is still trying to harness the power of stars. We learned to tap the fundamental forces of the universe itself." The Prometheus began its attack run, but not as the Nexarians expected. Instead of firing weapons, it created quantum tunnels throughout the battlefield. Enemy ships found themselves facing copies of themselves from moments in the future or past, their own tactics being used against them with perfect precision. "Your tactical experience is impressive," Sarah acknowledged as another wing of Nexarian ships fell to their own future maneuvers. "But while you were conquering other species, we were learning from every battle in human history. Your centuries of warfare. We've simulated millions of years of combat evolution in our quantum computers." The ring system itself became a weapon, transforming into a vast quantum computer that predicted and countered every Nexarian strategy before it could be executed. Their ships found themselves trapped in a dance they couldn't escape, every move anticipated and neutralized with algorithmic precision. But the Nexarians weren't finished. In their desperation, they unveiled their hidden weapon, a device that could theoretically tear apart the fabric of space-time itself. As the device powered up, reality began to warp around Saturn's rings. At last, Sarah said softly, "Now we can show them why we really built the ring system." She initiated the final protocol, speaking the activation code clearly. Ouroboros. Saturn's rings shifted, not just physically but dimensionally. The billions of quantum processors synchronized, creating a computational array that exceeded the processing power of entire galaxies. The space-time weapons effects were caught in a localized loop, its energy feeding back into itself. The Nexarian fleet watched in horror as their ultimate weapon was not just neutralized but transformed. The tear in space-time became a lens, showing them visions of alternate timelines, countless scenarios where species like them had tried to conquer Earth, each ending in their defeat. "Your weapon was designed to destroy reality," Sarah explained to the stunned Nexarian commander. "Ours was designed to protect it. That's the fundamental difference between our species, Commander. You build weapons to conquer. We build them to defend." As the battle reached its climax, the true nature of humanity's technological superiority became clear. It wasn't just about advanced weapons or clever tactics. It was about understanding the universe at a level the Nexarians hadn't imagined possible. And now they faced a choice: continue fighting against an enemy they couldn't hope to defeat, or accept the possibility that their entire understanding of their place in the cosmos needed to change. The Nexarian command structure was fracturing. After the devastating display of power at Saturn's rings, their fleet hung in disarray near Titan's orbit. Emergency transmissions bounced between ships as commanders argued over their next move. Supreme Commander Vixlar's authority was crumbling. On the main command channel, subordinate voices grew increasingly desperate. "We must retreat," Admiral Kexon demanded, their crystalline form pulsing with fear patterns. "These humans, they're not just more advanced, they're playing with forces we barely understand." "Coward," Fleet Marshal Zixren countered. "We are the Nexarian Collective. We do not retreat. Launch the entire reserve fleet. We still outnumber them." From her command center, Admiral Chen monitored these exchanges with the help of quantum eye translators that caught every nuance of Nexarian communication, even the subtle bioluminescent patterns that betrayed their true emotions. "They're splitting into factions," Captain Rodriguez reported. 3 fleet groups are preparing for immediate withdrawal. But the hardliners, they're moving their doomsday weapons into position. Sarah nodded, accessing the quantum network through her neural interface. The Prometheus hung silent above Saturn, its dark matter hull absorbing all light, a reminder of humanity's patient power. And now we see if they've learned anything from our demonstrations. The Nexarian fleet's formation reflected their internal division. Nearly 40% of their ships had turned away from Earth, their commanders choosing survival over pride. But the remaining vessels, led by the zealous Zixren, began forming into attack patterns. "Let them see," Sarah commanded softly. "Initiate Protocol Genesis." Throughout the solar system, quantum signals activated dormant systems buried within planets, moons, and asteroids. These weren't weapons, they were something far more profound. Reality itself seemed to ripple as vast arrays of quantum processors synchronized. "Humans." Zixren's voice boomed across all frequencies. "Your tricks end now. Behold the true power of the Nexarian Collective." Their remaining ships launched their combined arsenal: planet killers, solar flare inducers, and dimensional shredders. Sarah's response was calm. "No, Marshal. Behold the true power of human understanding." She activated humanity's ultimate achievement, not with a command, but with a thought. The space between Earth and Saturn transformed. The quantum processor network didn't just affect local spacetime. It revealed what had been hidden there all along. The multiple dimensions that humans had learned to perceive and manipulate became visible to Nexarian sensors. Their weapons didn't just fail, they ceased to exist as the fundamental laws of physics shifted around them. The attacking Nexarian ships found themselves suspended in a reality they couldn't comprehend, where the very concepts of force and matter were negotiable. Impossible, Vixlar whispered. What are we seeing? The true nature of space-time, Sarah explained. While you focused on conquering three-dimensional space, we learned to exist in 11 dimensions. Your weapons are impressive, but they're like trying to drain an ocean with a cup. You're fighting against the fundamental structure of reality itself. The Prometheus began to transform, its dark matter hull flowing like liquid night. The ship didn't just change shape, it demonstrated humanity's mastery over matter and energy at the quantum level. It became a window into possibilities that the Nexarian science had never imagined. Your species spent centuries building bigger weapons, Sarah continued. We spent that time understanding the universe's source code. Every planet in our system isn't just defended. It's part of a vast quantum computer that can locally rewrite the laws of physics. Around them, space itself seemed to breathe. The attacking Nexarian ships hung helpless as their weapons dissolved into quantum probability clouds. Some crews ejected in panic, their escape pods racing toward their retreating comrades. Marshal Zixren, however, wasn't finished. Then we'll take the galaxy with us. Initiate the Void Cascade. Their flagship began a power buildup that threatened to tear apart the fabric of local spacetime. Sarah's expression showed not fear, but pity. That's exactly what we wanted you to try. She initiated the final sequence of humanity's revelation. The true purpose of the Genesis Protocol was about to be revealed, and with it, the reason why humanity had remained hidden for so long. The fabric of reality around the solar system began to shift, not tearing as the Nexarians intended, but transforming in ways that would forever change their understanding of their place in the universe. What happened next would determine not just the fate of this battle, but the future of both species' evolution. As Marshal Zixren's Void Cascade threatened to unravel spacetime, the Genesis Protocol reached its completion. The quantum fabric of reality around Earth's solar system didn't tear, it transformed. The dimensions themselves began to sing with harmonic frequencies that no Nexarian instrument could measure. Do you understand now? Admiral Chen's voice carried across all frequencies, touching not just communication systems, but consciousness itself. We didn't build weapons to destroy. We built tools to create. The Prometheus's dark matter hull became transparent, revealing the true nature of humanity's flagship. It wasn't just a vessel of war. It was a seed of creation. Within its quantum matrix, entire universes flickered like dreams, possibilities made manifest through understanding rather than force. The Void Cascade's destructive energy was caught in these dimensional harmonics, transformed from an ending into a beginning. Where the Nexarians had intended destruction, new realities blossomed. Their weapon of ultimate devastation became a lens through which both species could glimpse the infinite. Supreme Commander Vixlar watched in awe as their most powerful weapon was transmuted into pure creative potential. What are you showing us? The truth, Sarah replied. Humanity didn't just advance technologically. We evolved. We learned that the universe isn't a resource to be conquered. It's a symphony to be conducted. Your Void Cascade didn't fail. We helped it achieve its true purpose. Around them, the quantum harmonics reached their peak. The space between Earth and Saturn became a canvas of creation. Stars danced in miniature, galaxies spiraled in quantum probability clouds, and the boundaries between thought and reality grew thin. Marshal Zixren's flagship hung suspended in this display of cosmic art. Their crystalline form pulsed with patterns that the xenobiologists identified as profound revelation. All this time, they transmitted, we thought we were the pinnacle of evolution, but we were children playing with forces we didn't understand. Not children, Sarah corrected gently. Seekers like us. You just took a different path. Your species conquered because you feared being conquered. You built weapons because you couldn't imagine another way to be strong. We're showing you another path. The Genesis Protocol reached its culmination. The quantum processors buried throughout the solar system weren't just for defense. They were nodes in a vast network designed to elevate consciousness itself. As the harmonics stabilized, both humans and Nexarians found themselves able to perceive reality in ways their ancestors could never have imagined. This is why we hid our true nature, Sarah explained. Not from fear, but from responsibility. We needed to be certain that when we revealed these truths, we could do so without destroying those who weren't ready to understand them. The remaining Nexarian fleet, even those who had turned to flee, found themselves drawn back by the beauty of what they witnessed. Their weapons powered down not through command but through understanding. War became meaningless in the face of creation. We offer you a choice, Sarah continued. Continue on your path of conquest, fighting against the very nature of reality itself, or join us in learning what the universe truly is, not a battlefield to be won, but a garden to be grown. The response came not just from the Nexarian command, but from every ship in their fleet. Their crystalline forms resonated with the quantum harmonics, creating patterns of light that spoke of transformation. They had come seeking conquest and found enlightenment instead. Commander Vixlar spoke for their entire species. We choose to learn. As the Genesis Protocol completed its work, the solar system returned to its apparent normalcy. But both species knew that nothing would ever be the same. The Nexarians had arrived as conquerors and would leave as students of a greater truth. Humanity had revealed itself not as a warrior race, but as teachers who had waited patiently for others to be ready for their lessons. The Prometheus resumed its position near Saturn, its dark matter hull once again absorbing all light. But now the Nexarians understood. It wasn't hiding its power, it was containing its potential, waiting for the right moment to help others grow. This, Sarah said finally, is humanity's true victory. Not defeating an enemy, but gaining a student. Welcome to the next stage of evolution. The war ended not with surrender, but with understanding. And in the quantum harmonics that still echoed through space, both species could hear the first notes of a new symphony of creation, waiting to be composed together.